Okay, so let me try to explain TreeForm really quick without the benefit of my camera person and director. So when you open it, you get this workspace, and to do something with the workspace you have two options. Either you just go to one of those templates and drag something into the workspace, or you go to the writer file, and in the writer file you will get the option open, and then you will see a number of files and folders. And the important thing for you to do is click on Search in TreeForm, Suchen in TreeForm, because this will tell you which folder you are really in. Here I can see that I'm on my external hard drive, Toshiba, that I'm in the folder English Department from 2018 and Understanding Syntax 4 and TreeForm, the subfolder TreeForm. And so I'll click on the last folder. That's one folder too low actually, because the trees I have recently built are stored in this folder. Okay, so that's a very important point, because the program sometimes doesn't care where it stores the stuff. That's the second part I'll come back to. How do you store? That's how you find things. Okay, and now I go on a sentence I have already built yesterday. I click on that sentence and I click on open, and here it is. For your benefit, I'll enlarge it. So one thing to work with TreeForm is to put stuff you have already built into the workspace. The other possibility is you simply go on File again and you click on New. And if you have something in the workspace, this will disappear then. The workspace is empty and you can start to build a tree on your own. So what you see is various functions, F1 to F12, and beneath that there are some other options that you can use. We will not need all of them. What will actually be important will be F1, F2, the triangle, sometimes what's called unary or binary or ternary, and 11 and F12. So why don't we start with F12? That's the XBAR scheme that is in my second video, and that second video, which is on YouTube, will also tell you what this XBAR scheme is about. But for now we want to do something less refined. We want to go back to Linguistics 101 and build a sentence which has the symbol S for sentence at the top. So what I did in order to get there is I put the cursor here and I removed XP and put S in its place. So the topmost node, der oberste Knoten, is called the root of the sentence for quite obvious reasons. The special thing about syntactic trees is that they are upside down, and that's why the root is not at the bottom but at the top. Okay, then you have these slots, these curious slots here, where you can put in other stuff. That's what these slots are for. The diagonally struck through circles. So what I can do here, for example, is I can take another X bar structure and can insert it into that slot, and I could do the same thing with this one. So you get very quickly ever larger structures, but that's not what we want to do in the moment. At the moment we want to build the simple tree structure S consists of NP and VP, subject and predicate, and so we go on this item, which is for undo action. So we undo what we did before, and instead we go to F1 and we insert this into the slot, which gives us another X, and we can now replace that by NP. And as I also explained in the video, if we are not interested in the external structure of NP, we can do this. We just put a triangle here, and now we can type in as text for what the subject is anything that is a suitable subject. It's arbitrary, we can do as we like. We can have the man in the dark suit, the woman, and so on and so forth. So that would be our subject. Then as the next thing, we put the cursor here and we replace the X with the apostrophe. It's also called X bar because it used to be with a bar on top of the X. We replace that with VP. And VP, of course, a verb phrase must contain a verb, so we replace that X with a V. And we go once again to F1 to go one note down, and here we replace the X, always the variable X. We replace it, let's say, by the verb like. And the VP consists once again either of a verb and another noun phrase, as in we do the same thing with this slot that we did before, and a noun phrase, and once again we are not interested in the internal structure, and so we get something like this. The man likes these syntactic structures. Okay, so that's how we can deal with this program in order to draw conventional tree diagrams, as we learned about in Linguistics 101. And now comes the second part. I showed you how I take out a tree that I have already built from the tree folder, And now we want to save the tree we have just built. Once again we go on the file writer and we go further down and we go to the department Save As. And once again we have data files and we have folders. Check that you are in the right folder, in the folder where you want to save the structure that you've just built. All you have to do is to give it a name, and sometimes it makes sense to just give it the name of the words that the sentence consists of. So the man likes these syntactic structures. And then you click on Save, Speichern. There you go, and now you have filed away and you can start something new. And for that, once again, you go on File and click on New. The sentence you just built disappears, and in order to retrieve it, you once again go on File. Now you don't go on Save As because there is nothing to save. You go on Open, and normally after you've done a few such operations, you automatically land in the right folder. If not, do the checking whether you are in the right place for Suchen in, and you can sort this the trees that you have built by date. So if you click on Änderungsdatum, the one you last built either appears at the bottom or at the top. Click 2 times will enable you to get it on top in any case, and here we go. Here it is again. Automatically it appears as 100% size, but you have various ways to enlarge it. 150, 500%, 1000%, 1000% won't make any sense, but for us, for the purpose of this video, 200 should be good. So we have this. Okay, let's check another important function, namely node up. If I want to say the man likes these syntactic structures very much, or the man very much likes these syntactic structures, I can go to F2 and I can do this. I insert another node on top of the VP, and since a VP together with an adverbial phrase is still a VP, I replace X by VP, and then I use the function we already know, namely you go 1 node down. Previously I went 1 node up, now I go 1 node down. I write for this adverb for adverbial phrase. Once again, internal structure is irrelevant. Very much likes these syntactic structures. Okay, that's one way of adding the adverbial phrase, but as we know, we can also add the adverbial phrase at the end. And in order to do that, we don't have to undo the structure that we just built, but rather we have the possibility to do a right click. And when you do the right click, you get 4 options, and you pick the option flip subtree. And that means you can change the order of the 2 nodes that are next to each other on the picture. So click it, and now you go to the left with the cursor, to the right with the cursor, and click again. And you have swapped the order. So that's one way of doing this, to join a phrase to another one. But there is also another option, and let me see whether I can undo this. Okay, I have undone the flip, and now I've undone the previous operation. More undoing, and I end up with what we started with. Let's now go to function f11. And with function f11 we can do the same thing, except that we automatically already have VP. The function adjunct builds a verb phrase on top of a verb phrase. If this were a noun phrase, it would build a noun phrase on top of it. And it gives you a slot where you can insert things. And the insertion operation you already know. You go on F1, replace it with add P. You have the triangle, and you add very much, and then you can flip if you like. But let's, for the moment, just save this tree. And we are almost done. I go on Save As. And what I have here is the name of the structure I previously stored. And so I can use this fact in order to simply add the words very much. I store it. And that's it. Okay, let me start something new. And let me now go to the famous example from Linguistic 101, which I also used, namely Bill saw Michaela with the glasses. A sentence that has 2 structures, and I will show you which ones. So we have the NP Bill. Once again, we are not interested in exactly what Bill is. I replace the X bar with VP, and I replace the X with V. I go downwards. So, and now comes the tricky question: what is the structure what are the structures that correspond to the two meanings of the sentence. Let me first give you the structure for the meaning where Michaela has the glasses. In order to do that, I built a noun phrase which has two tiers. Namely, it is the noun phrase Michaela with an adjunct. And the adjunct is with the glasses. For that I use the function note down, F1. And of course this is a prepositional phrase, and once again we are not interested in the internal structure with the glasses. Okay, so I have joined this phrase with the glasses to the noun phrase Michaela, which gives us another noun phrase. An alternative way of doing this would be to say, well, why don't we just regard Michaela as a noun, and then we expand that noun into a noun phrase. Why we don't do that, I will elaborate on in a sheet I will write for you. So what you need to keep in mind for now that is that the analysis would be we have a noun phrase expanded into another noun phrase. I saw Michaela with the glasses. Okay, let's now undo that, and let's suppose that it's not Michaela who has the glasses but Bill, and he uses them to see Michaela. Undo all this. And once again we have the noun phrase Michaela, this time without anything adjoined to it. And in order to express that the act of seeing is done with the glasses, I use the adjunct function. So I stack another VP on top of the previous one. I use the flip function in order to get the right word order, and I insert a PP into this slot. With the glasses. Alright, that's already almost it. Let me now introduce the final important function, namely movement. Let's suppose I have a topicalized sentence with the glasses. Bill saw Michaela, not with the telescope. Then I could do this. I adjoin another sentence on top of the original one. I put the PP with the glasses to the front. And delete it from its original position. So you delete it from the original position by marking with the glasses and go to the strike through function S. And now comes the interesting part. You go on movement and you start the movement at the original side of the PP, and you go to the landing site and you do a click, and that gives you the output of the topicalization process with the glasses Bill Michaela. And that's it for now. If you have questions, we will deal with these in the seminar. Happy tree building.